Throughout the Middle Ages, cities were more than just places where people lived. They were centers of power, education, trade, and faith. Rising from small fortified towns, many medieval cities grew into major hubs that influenced politics, culture, and economics on a global scale. Their legacies still echo today, in the landmarks that remain, the stories that inspire us, and the lessons history has left behind. In this video, we're going to explore some of the most influential medieval cities across the world. From Europe to Asia, Africa to the Americas, each city tells its own fascinating story of how it rose, flourished, and sometimes fell to war, conquest, or time itself. So, let's begin our journey. Constantinople was more than just a city. It was the crossroads of continents. Founded by Emperor Constantine the Great in the 4th century, its location on the Bosphorus Strait gave it unrivaled access to Europe, Asia, and the Mediterranean. Protected by strong walls and positioned on a peninsula, the city was nearly impossible to conquer for centuries. By the early Middle Ages, it became the beating heart of the Eastern Roman Empire, also known as Byzantium. Emperor Justinian I, ruling from Constantinople, transformed it with ambitious building projects, including the construction of the Hagia Sophia, which still stands as one of the world's greatest masterpieces of Byzantine architecture. Constantinople grew rich through trade, as merchants from Italy, Arabia, and beyond brought silks, spices, and precious goods through its markets. Travelers and crusaders alike were astonished by its wealth. But after enduring invasions, plagues, and political struggles, the city finally fell to the Ottoman Turks in 1453, marking the end of the Byzantine Empire. Today, we know it as Istanbul, still one of the largest and most vibrant cities in the world. In 762, the Abbasid Ka, Bruges became a hub for art and culture as well, attracting painters like Jan van Eyck. At its peak, it was one of Europe's wealthiest cities. Though it linned northern Europe, Bruges rose to prominence as one of the most important trading cities of the medieval world. Situated with direct access to the sea, Bruges became an international port by the 11th century. Flemish cloth, made from wool processed in the city, became highly sought after across Europe. By the 13th and 14th centuries, Bruges was bustling with Italian merchants and traders from across the continent. Its wealth allowed the construction of iconic buildings, such as the Belfry of Bruges, St. John's Hospital, and Market Square. The city even pioneered modern finance, establishing the world's first stock exchange. Ader declined as trade routes shifted. Bruges remains one of the best-preserved medieval cities in Europe, attracting millions of tourists to its canals and cobbled streets. Florence was more than just a city. It was the cradle of the Renaissance. In the Middle Ages, Florence grew wealthy through banking, trade, and craftsmanship. By the 13th century, it had developed into a powerful city-state, minting its own currency, the florin, which became one of the most stable and widely used coins in Europe. The rivalry between noble families and factions shaped Florence's politics, but it was the merchant and banking guilds that eventually rose to power. The Medici family, in particular, became patrons of the arts, sponsoring legendary figures such as Leonardo da Vinci, Botticelli, and Michelangelo. Florence's architecture also reflected its prosperity. The Cathedral of Santa Maria del Fiore, with its massive dome designed by Brunelleschi, remains one of the greatest achievements of the period. The city's commitment to art, science, and literature helped spark the Renaissance, influencing Europe for CE. Córdoba, in medieval Spain, was once one of the most advanced cities in the world. Under Muslim rule beginning in the 8th century, Córdoba became the capital of Al-Andalus. By the 10th century, it had a population nearing 1 million, making it one of the largest cities in Europe. The Great Mosque of Córdoba, completed in 796 and later expanded, remains one of the finest examples of Islamic architecture in the world. Córdoba was also a hub of learning, boasting libraries, schools, and scholars who excelled in medicine, astronomy, philosophy, and mathematics. Its prosperity came from agriculture, trade, and manufacturing industries such as textiles and ceramics. When Christian forces reconquered the city in 1236, Córdoba's golden age ended, but its historical influence still resonates today. Paris may be one of the most visited cities in the modern world, but its roots as a medieval city are just as fascinating. By the 12th century, Paris had become a thriving hub of politics, religion, and education. The construction of Notre Dame Cathedral beginning in 1163 showcased the city's mastery of Gothic architecture. The University of Paris attracted students from across Europe, cementing the city's role as a center of learning. Meanwhile, trade flourished along the Seine River, and the city grew behind its protective stone walls built by King Philip II. Despite enduring hardships such as the Black Death and sieges during the Hundred Years' War, Paris remained a dominant force in Western Europe. By the late Middle Ages, it was already on its way to becoming the cosmopolitan capital we know today. Venice was unlike any other medieval city. Built on islands in a lagoon, it developed into one of the most powerful maritime republics of the Middle Ages. Its strategic location between Constantinople and Western Europe made it a natural hub for Mediterranean trade. By the 13th Sea,